Yes.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, Liz. So we'll go with Lohita Raj. Over to you.
Yeah, hello, I'm Lohit. I've been working in TCS from past 4 years
Mm-hmm.
and working in SAP APO module. Along
Mm-hmm.
with that, I've been worked with like IBP monitoring for 1 year.
Okay.
Yeah, and I'm
Oh,
from Bangalore.
okay. Okay. Thanks, Lohit. And you want to learn more about IBP in detail rather than the basic skills, right?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Thanks. And we'll move to Gurminder Singh.
Hello, everyone. I'm basically a CPIDS consultant. So I've been working on IBP
Mm-hmm.
implementation projects since 4 to 5 years now.
Mm-hmm.
Just to expand my knowledge on SAP IBP, know the basics of it, but just want to have a professional guidance and to move forward into that direction.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Thanks. Thanks, Gurminder. And over to you, Rani.
Yeah, hi. I have been working in TCS for long 4 years, and I have working in APO, and I have been experienced like 1 year of experience in IBP in monitoring.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm in Bangalore location itself.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, then. So let me quickly share my screen. So let me know once you guys are able to see my screen.
Yeah, it's visible.
Yeah. So as I mentioned, so the agenda for this call is just to get an overview of IBP, what are the functionalities of IBP, and what is the architecture of IBP, and what is the course content we are going to cover as a part of this training. And last 5 to 10 minutes, it's for the queries, Q&A sessions. So if I mean, before going into the IBP, let's start with the simple supply chain. What are the general problems we have and how we manage the supply chain and all. So, I mean, many of you know because you're already from APU. So basically, the supply chain is like the movement of your demand from the downstream nodes to the upstream node, and against that, the moment of the supply from the upstream nodes to the downstream node of your supply chain, right? So basically, if you talk in general terminologies, so procuring raw materials from the suppliers to the manufacturing unit, and the production is happening at the manufacturing unit, and from the manufacturing units to the distribution centers, so you need to transfer that supply, and then from a distribution center, the retailer, and retailer to the consumer, you need to deliver the requested products, right? So the handling of this cycle only we call it as a supply chain. So if you take this, so for example, if you take this simple supply chain network, so we have the end users are the customers, and these are the retailers and distribution centers and the manufacturing unit and the supplier. So for example, if you want to buy a two-wheeler, okay, let us say you want to buy a Activa. Okay. So where you will reach? Do you reach to the directly the manufacturing unit, or you reach it to the nearest the vendor? You will first reach it to the nearest vendor, right? So that's where the retailer comes into the picture. So you will go there and you will ask for that product. If the stock is there, he will straight away fulfill your demand, or he will fulfill or deliver your vehicle. So if not, he will verify in the warehouse, okay, and whether the warehouse is having that a product or not. Okay, if it is not there, then the distribution center or the warehouse will reach out to the manufacturing unit. So we have a requirement like this. So will you, I mean, do you have that stock in place? Okay. If stock is there and the manufacturing unit straight away give it to the distributor or the DC, and DC will give it to the retailer, and retailer will give it to the customer. So if not there, then the manufacturing unit has to produce it, right? So when I'm saying producing it, so it required the resources and it requires the components as well to produce it. So if the capacity is not there or the resources are not available, then entire FG it can get it from the vendor. Or if the raw materials are required to go ahead for the production, you have enough capacity to produce it. So for the raw materials, again, you need to depend upon the supplier to get it. So whatever the demand you got it from the customer, okay, it moved from the downstream node of your supply chain networks to the upstream node here. So it started from the customer, retailer, distribution center, and the manufacturing unit, that is a plant, and moved to the supplier. So this information is nothing but your requirement. Okay. So now again as that, so supplier will supply that raw materials to the manufacturing unit, and manufacturing units produces it and it will supply to the DC or distributor, and DC will give it to the retailer and retailer will give it to the customer, right? So if you want to sustain the market, if your organization to sustain in the market, if you are able to manage this flow well, so whenever the demand comes, if you are able to fulfill that demand on time, so then you can sustain in the market. To happen that this demand flow and against the supply flow should happen on time. So you should be able to fulfill at the right time, with the right quantity, with the right quality. If you follow these three things, then you can manage in the market. So to do that, okay, so you need to have an optimized supply plan. So that you can't do manually. So because in reality, right now here we are seeing only one consumer or the one customer, but in reality you have n number of customers and n number of retailers, right? So to handle that, obviously you require tools for it, right? So in the market, okay, to handle the end-to-end supply chain, so we have n number of tools. Like we have Anaplan is there, we have Kinaxis is there, we have ZDA is there, and we have OMP is there, and O9 is there, and from SAP side, SAP APO is there, and SAP IBP is there, right? So in the ERP world, 70% of the market is grabbed by the SAP products only, right? So those so now with respect to the supply chain, if I looking into those two products, SAP APO and SAP IBP, if I take this here, so we have SAP APO and we have SAP IBP. So these are the two tools from SAP to handle the end-to-end supply chain. So APO is an on-premise solution. Anybody have any idea what is on-premise solution? What is on-premise product? Any idea? What is on-premise solution? Harish?
Yeah, the entire data which is it is not at cloud actually, so it is not it is a like a centralized data warehouse where they maintain that data in the center, not in the cloud or decentralized manner.
Right. So when you want to implement APO product for your supply chain, so you need to have the database set up at your client location only. Wherever you are implementing it, at that particular location, you need to have the database set up or administration set up. So it cannot be you cannot, it won't be there in the cloud. You can't access from anywhere, everywhere, sorry. But IBP is a cloud solution. So you just need to subscribe to that product, okay? And you can implement in your organization wherever you want. And the database and everything will be there in the cloud and you can access from anywhere, okay? So now to handle end-to-end supply chain, okay, SAP APO is further subdivided into the 5 major modules. Okay, so those are demand planning, supply network planning, production planning and detailed scheduling. Okay, TPVS, transportation and vehicle scheduling, and we have finally GATP, global available to promise. Right. So now, if you go into the each and every modules at the higher level. So first one is a demand planning. So basically, demand planning is a forecasting tool. Okay, so it will read your historical data. Based upon that, it will help you to predict the sales for the future. So generally, we use the demand planning for the long-term plan. So for next 1 or 2 years, how is the demand you are going to get? What is the demand you are going to get it? So that you can plan accordingly. So demand planning is a forecasting tool and it's a long-term plan. Okay. Now, once you understand what is the demand you are going to get it for the next 1 year, so how you are going to fulfill that demand. So you know that what is the demand you are going to get. Now, the next question is, how do I manage that? Right? So for that, we have SNP. So what it will do is, it will read your demand, whatever you have predicted, and along with that, the ongoing sales as well. It will consider both of it. And against that, it will give a rough supply plan. What is the supply plan here? So it will tell you where to produce, how much to produce, how to distribute it. So all those rough plan, you will get it via supply network planning. So generally, this is a midterm plan. It will be there from 3 months to 6 months. Okay. So once you know that the supply plan, so you have an idea how you are going to fulfill your demand, how you are going to produce, how you are going to plan your production activity, and how you are going to distribute it once the production is done. Right. So that supply plan will be converted into the actual production plan in the PPDS. So here, this is a short-term plan. Here, every second will matter. So whatever the supply plan you have, so it will be converted into the production plan. Now, not only the production planning here, we will do the scheduling as well, detail level scheduling. Like suppose at the so manufacturing unit, you need to produce 10 orders. Okay. So now those 10 orders may belong to the different products. So let us say 3 orders belongs to one product and the next 3 belongs to another product, and then remaining 4 belongs to the third product. So now, in which sequence I need to schedule those production orders at the soft lower level so that I can utilize my resources optimum. Okay. So that's where PPDS will help you to optimize your resource utilization by scheduling your orders. Now, during the production plan or the post the production plan, to move the products from one location to another location or one node to another node of your supply chain network. Okay. So we use the TPS, transportation and vehicle scheduling. Okay. So how optimally you can manage your transportation. Suppose you need to transport 100 products to the DC1 today. And tomorrow, again, you need to transport 100 products to the DC1. So now, instead of sending 2 individual orders, okay, so today 100 and tomorrow 100, it will lead to the 2 transportations, right? 2 times you need to transport, you need to use that vehicle twice. So to avoid that, okay, so there the TPVS will comes into the picture, and it will, instead of sending in a different days, on a single day you can transfer 200 to the respective location. So just an example I have given. So like that, the TPUS is there to help you to optimize your transportation plan. So the next thing is a GATP. So whatever the modules we have seen, demand planning, supply network planning, production planning, and detailed scheduling at the TPUS, this will happen within your organization. So GATP is a tool which directly interacts with your customer. So it will read your customer requirement, and against that, it will give a delivery date. So it's like the best example I can give in the e-commerce websites. If you take Amazon, if you want to buy some product, if you search for that product, it will give you a list of vendor to you. But if you select one of the vendor, by when you are going to get that product, so that delivery information immediately you will get it, right? The same thing if you come to the ERP world, GATP is the tool, the module which will help you to do that functionality, or which will help you to perform that activity. It will read your customer requirement and it will verify your end-to-end supply chain network. And against that, it will propose the delivery date by when you are going to get that product. Okay. So now what SAP did is, on top of that, they start to develop a tool called S&OP. Okay. So this is for the whatever the offline meetings we used to have, right? For the demand review or the supply review processes. They want to bring that process in a systematic manner. For that, they started working on that tool. Later, they renamed that tool to SAP IBP. Okay. So now under IBP, they slowly migrating the functionality of the demand, which is there in APO, to the IBP as IBP for demand. And S&P is migrated to IBP as IBP for supply and response. And we have IBP S&OP as well. And on top of that, IBP inventory. And we have IBP supply chain control tower, right? So we have DDMRP as well, right? So now the other modules like PPDS is migrated to our execution system from SAP, that is S/4HANA. So this PPDS is migrated to S/4HANA as embedded PPDS, ePPDS, and TPDS as a TM separate module. And GATP again, it is moved to S/4HANA as a AATP, advanced available to promise. Okay. If you see this here, so DP S&P is moved to IBP, and GATP and the PPDS is moved to S/4HANA. So now once they developed this IBP, okay, so whatever the APO solution is there, right? So it was there since last 2 decades in the market. Now, the moment they launched the IBP product, they stopped the development in the area of APO. They completely stopped the development. After that, slowly, whenever the IBP product is stable, okay, so they announced the support end date as well. So, okay, so earlier it was supposed to end by 2020, but due to a lot of customers already implemented APO, they are not yet ready to move to IBP as the full-fledged functionality is not there in IBP. So the later it is extended up to 2027, right? So by 2027, the support is also going to end. Okay. So whoever is already implemented the APO, they has to move to IBP. There is no other option after 2027. Okay. Now, whatever the development, whatever the enhancements in the area of SAP supply chain, it will be done in the IBP only. So APO is a sunset product in the market. The future for supply chain from SAP is SAP IBP only. So any doubts so far?
No.
Good. Yep.
Yeah, good.
Yeah. So now let us go in details about IBP. So as I mentioned, IBP has a sub-modules. Those are IBP for demand, IBP for inventory, IBP for DDMRP, and IBP for response and supply, and IBP for S&OP, and IBP for supply chain control tower. So let us try to understand one by one module. So first one, if you go into the IBP for demand, okay. So we know that the demand is like demand planning is like the forecasting, right? So if you take the demand planning cycle, okay, So irrespective of what kind of tool you are using it, what is the general demand planning cycle? Any one of you? What we do in the demand planning? Any idea? Any one of you? No one? Maybe Lohit, you may have any idea? Gurminder, Rohit, Rani, any idea on the demand planning cycle? General demand planning cycle. It is nothing to do with IBP or APU or any other tool. No, Haris?
Yeah, like demand planning is the tool for forecasting the future demand with the sales history, or for the past is the past demand. Yeah.
Okay. So then let me take it. So if you see this, okay, generally once when you are talking about the demand plan, so first you need to gather the historical data, right? Once you gather the historical data, next thing what you will do, you will clean the historical data. If there is any outliers, are there any promotions you have done, you need to remove that. Without that, you can't proceed it, because whatever the event happened, whatever the outlier has happened in past data, that may or may not happen in the future. So that fact you need to remove before going for the forecasting. So you need to clean it. So once you clean it, you will generate.
Hello, I'm Srinivas.
Yes, Srinivas. Yes, Srinivas. You're saying something? Hello? Srinivas, if you're talking, I'm not able to hear you. Okay, fine. So once you generated the, once you clean the historical data, next thing is you need to pick up the right forecasting model, right? Whatever the formula you have or any dedicated algorithm you have, right? You will pick up that based upon certain error methods, whichever algorithm, whichever the formula which is giving the less error, you will pick up that, and with that you will go ahead and you will generate the baseline forecast, right? So then that will be reviewed further, and every month you will keep on monitor it with the same thresholds, whether it is generating the demand or not. If not, you will intervene and you will tune it, right? That is a general demand planning cycle. So if you see this, first you prepare the data for the demand planning, where you will gather the historical data. You need to clean your historical data, and based upon the available formulas or the algorithms, you will generate the baseline forecast. Then you will take a input from your all the stakeholders, and you will freeze the demand plan, and that will be finalized. And every period, whether you are getting the same kind of demand plan or not. If not, then you will again intervene and you will generate it, right? So now the same thing, if I bring into the IBP. So in the IBP for demand, so once you gather the historical data into IBP, to clean that historical data, we have automatic outlier correction is there. We have substitute missing values are there. We have promotional sales lift elimination is there. With the help of that, you can clean your historical data, right? So now we have n number of algorithms, both advanced and the machine learning algorithms also there, which handles all kinds of data, right? So before going to pick the forecasting model, first you need to understand about your data, right? What kind of data you are going to deal with, or what kind of products you are having it. To understand more about that, we have time series analysis, we have ABC XYZ segmentation, which will help you to understand your sales history patterns, the type of the products you are going to handle it, right? So now in IBP for demand, as I mentioned, we have a lot of algorithms are there. So there are 5 to 6 algorithms are there which handle the seasonal relevant products. There are 4 to 5 models are there which will handle the products which are having the trend patterns. So now out of those 5 or the 6, which one I need to pick up the best suited for my products, right? For that, it supports the best fit forecasting model as well. Okay. Now to monitor or to pick up the right forecasting model, to fine tune that forecasting model, whatever you have pick up, right? So it supports the all kinds of error methods. We have MAP, MAP, and MAD, MSC, RMSC, all kinds of error methods will be supported in IBP for demand. Even it will support your life cycle planning. Like that means when you are introducing the product, how to handle the demand planning, or when you are moving out of the market, okay, very soon. So then for that kind of products, how to handle the demand planning, okay? Or you have set up the demand planning and later you are changing your supply chain network, okay? Either you are clubbing certain locations together or you are removing certain locations. You want to adjust your the existing supply chain network with the demand planning things. Then we have a data realignment also there without uh, involving much manual efforts. You can easily realign your demand planning setup according to your new changes, right? Even it will support the exceptional handling with the help of the respective alerts and everything, right? So these are the major demand planning functionalities you will get as a part of IBP for demand. So next one, if you look at here, so that is response and supply, right? So whatever the demand you got it, you know that whatever the demand you are going to get, the next thing is you need to do the supply plan, right? So here, if you look into this, so basically in general, the supply general planning will be divided into the 3 kinds of plannings. As I mentioned, we have long term, mid term, and the short term, right? So in another business terminology, we call it as a strategic level planning, there's tactical planning, and the operational planning, right? So depending upon the kind of planning you are going to carry out, so we'll go with the respective supply planning. So in IBP, there are 2 types of supply plannings. One is a time series, and second one is a order based. Okay. So if you are going with the time series, so generally when you want to do a strategic level planning or mid to long term planning, so then we'll go for the time series supply planning. Or if you want to do the operational level or the short term or the daily level planning, we'll go for the order based planning. So that is only we call it as a response, right? So now to whatever the supply planning you do in IBP at the high level, we have 3 algorithms are there. So one is, in short, we have the 2 algorithms only. So one is a heuristic and second one is the optimizer. Okay. Depending upon what kind of requirement you have, we'll go with the respective planning algorithms. So heuristic is if you want to understand the bottlenecks in your supply chain. Okay, you want to understand what are the if I straight away go ahead with this demand, what are the problems I'm going to get it. So where the bottlenecks are there, how to, so that I can take the decisions accordingly. So for that, we have an infinite heuristic is there. So mostly this will be used for the long-term plan. Okay, so then, and we have a heuristic finite is there. So this is, it will respect the all the constraints which you have. Along with that, it will support the prioritized supply plan. Okay. And if you want to go with the cost-based supply plan, then we have an optimizer. So whatever the algorithm you choose it, the ultimate aim is it will read your demand and it will help you to understand your supply plan. That means where to produce, how much to produce, how to distribute, all those things you will get an idea via IBP for supply. Good. So next, if I go to the next module, that is inventory. So why inventory is required? So basically, to avoid either stock out situation or the high inventory holding cost rates. Both are not good for any supply chain network, right? So to avoid stock out situation and the high inventory holding cost rate, you will require inventory planning. So what you will get if I do the inventory planning? You will get to know, you will get an idea where to keep the right inventory. Okay. So, or in short, right inventory at the right node of your supply chain network. If you do that, you can avoid both the situations, that is stock out or the high inventory holding cost rate. Right. For that, in IBP, we have separate module, that is IBP for inventory. So again, it has three algorithms, are the three operators are there. Those are multi-stage inventory optimization, single stage inventory optimization, and the target inventory component generation. Okay. So with the help of these three algorithms, it will help you to determine your stock norms. The stock norms mean those are safety stock, pipeline stock, cycle stock. Okay. So it will read your demand planning, and along with that, it will consider your serviceability as well. So based upon that, it will provide the stock norms at the each and every node of your network. Okay. So any doubts so far?
No.
Okay. So we have seen IBP for demand, we have seen IBP for supply, and we have IBP for inventory. Now, if you go back to our main major submodule slide, okay. So on top of these planning models, so we have the S&OP as well. So this is S&OP is like a decision level process. So what it will do is, once your demand is ready, so okay, so it will bring all the stakeholders together, get handshake with each other to finalize your demand, right? Basically, the consensus demand, you are going to get it, right? So after doing the S&OP meetings only, you will going to get it. So if you want to do that process in a systematic manner, then we'll go for the sales and operations. So here we have the project process templates. With the help of that, you will synchronize that process. Now, on top of this, we have the supply chain control tower. So this is a purely analytic tool. So whatever the planning you do, whether it's a demand planning or inventory planning or the supply planning, okay. So to visualize those results in the form of the charts or in the form of the dashboards, or if you want to understand the KPIs of the each planning, then we'll go for the supply chain control tower. So it will give you the end-to-end visibility of your network, whatever the supply chain network you have, right? How many nodes are there? What are the nodes you have? How those nodes are connected, interconnected? Okay, what are the customer-facing nodes? How those customer-facing nodes are connected to your manufacturing units? So you will get end-to-end visibility with the help of the supply chain control tower, and it will support the exceptional handling as well with the help of the custom alerts and the case management. Okay. So these are the different sub-modules of IBP. Okay. So now let us look into the high-level architecture of IBP. So this is the high-level architecture of IBP. So IBP is purely a planning tool. Okay. And the backend database is S/4HANA. Okay. And it won't do the execution part. Okay. It will just do the planning. And for the execution system, you need to depend upon your source system. For example, if you are already using SAP, then S/4HANA is your execution system. So you need to bring the data from your source system to here in IBP, and you carry out the planning here. Once the planning is done, you need to publish the results back to your source system, right? To do that, you need an interface, right? So there you have a CADS and the RTI. So with the help of these two interfaces, you can bring the data from your source system to IBP, and you do the planning here. Once the planning is done, you can publish those results back to your source system. Okay, and IBP has a two user interfaces, okay, to interact with your IBP tool. So that is Excel UI and the Web UI. Okay, so as it is available in the Web UI, you can access from anywhere. You can access from your mobile, you can access from your tab or the PC, the laptop. Okay, from anywhere you can able to access it. Okay, so then IBP supports the integration with the collaboration tools as well, like Exam or the Teams, Microsoft Teams. So it will support that. So whatever the activities you are doing, if you want to inform your business planners, okay, or you are part of your demand planning team and you want to inform other demand planners what are the activity you are doing it, okay, or where exactly you stuck are. So that you can do with the Teams or the Exam. Okay, so this is the high level solution architecture. So any doubts here?
No.
Good. So now, just a second. Yeah. Hope you are able to see my screen. Yeah.
Yes, I can.
Yeah. So now, as I mentioned, ADP has a two user interfaces to access, right? So one is Excel and the second one is a web. So for example, if you want to access your IBP by Excel, there is a prerequisite. You need to install the IBP Excel add-in. Okay. With that only you can able to access it. Without that, you can't able to access. You need to download the IBP Excel add-in based upon whatever the release you are standing. Right now, we are in the February, right? So every quarter, SAP comes with a new release in the IBP. It's not like our S4HANA products. Okay. So every quarter, whatever the existing functionalities are, it will try to enhance it, or the new functionalities also, it will release it. So that is in the months of February, May, August, and then November. These are the 4 months where the new releases will come. So currently we are in the February. So in the market, you can have a 26.02 version of Excel add-in. You can download it and you can install it. So without that, you can't able to access it, right? So now, so this is just a process how to activate that. So once you have Excel add-in is in place, now you need to access your IBP account. So in order to access your IBP account, you should have a user in it, right? So once the admin team added your user, immediately you will get a notification with the mail. So there you need to activate your account. The moment you activate your account, it will automatically direct you to your IBP web UI. Okay. So once that is successful, then you can able to log in via Excel UI as well. Okay. So this kind of mail you will get, and this is how it looks. So once you click on that, it will open like this, and here you will set up your password. Once you set up the password, and it will direct you to the web UI. This is how IBP web UI looks. Okay, same IBP. If you want to access via Excel, you need to create a connection. So here, after installation of Excel add-in, in the IBP ribbon button, you will get it in Excel. Okay, so if you click on that, this is a screen where you can set up the connection, and through that you can access your IBP. So these are some of the steps to how you can connect your IBP via Excel UI. So whatever the WI link is there, right? You can provide that here, and you can provide the connection name, and you need to provide your planning model. So planning model is nothing but it's a structure where you will keep your transactional data and the master data. So in order to access your IBP via Excel, you should have a planning model ready with you, right? So via that, you can able to access it. So now let us understand what is planning model. So whenever you are dealing with any kind of planning, so you require both master data and the transactional data. For example, if I give, let us say 100, I have a sales history of 100. Okay, I have given this data, right? If I give this data, will you able to do the demand planning? So immediately you will ask, right? For what product you are having the sales history of 100, at which location you are having the sales history of 100, for which customer you are having the sales history of 100, right? During which time you are having the sales history of 100. So these are all called master data, right? So without master data, you can't able to define properly, right? And you require the time also. Now, to define these master data, we need certain characteristics. Suppose if Aris is there, if I ask him, where are you from? So he is going to describe, so I am from so-and-so state, so-and-so district, so-and-so region, so-and-so a place, right? So to describe your location, you are using certain characteristics. So those characteristics only, we call it as a attributes. So here location ID, location description, the region, okay? These are all called attributes, right? So now still you have the master data. To define that master data, you have attribute, but still I can't completely define this sales history data. So basically you need to mention the respective level, right? For which product, at which location, which customer, during which time. So to define the transactional data, you need a level. That level will be found by these attributes only. That we call it as a planning level. Okay. So here, let us say product, location, customer, and the week. Okay. So that means for P1, location L1 of customer C1 during the week 01 of 2025, you are having a sales history of 100, right? So now it has some meaning. Now you have certain object to store your master data. Now to keep your transactional data, you need one more object, right? So that we call it as a key figures. Okay, this is there to keep your transactional data. So to define this data, you require all these things, right? You require attributes, and with the help of that you form the master data, and time. With the help of the attributes and the time, you will define a planning level. Against the planning level, you are going to define your transactional data under the key figures, right? So to keep your master data and transactional data, all those things required, right? So this is called as a planning model. Okay, so this will be represented by a structure called planning area. So this will be formed with the help of your time profile and your master data. And within your master data, as the master data is there in your planning area, you can able to define your planning levels. And against the planning levels, you can define your key figures, right? So this is only, we call it as a planning model. So to carry out the planning in IBP, planning model setup is important. Without that, you can't proceed for the any kind of planning. So this is just a overview of IBP. Okay. So now, as a part of this training, we're going to cover both the time series and order-based planning. So depending upon your interest, if you want only order-based planning, we are going to provide this. Okay, this is the content of order-based planning. And if you want to go with the all the time series plannings, those are demand, inventory, time series supply, and supply chain control tower. So we are going to cover as well. Okay, you want to only learn time series supply and the time order-based supply, that is also delivered. So depending upon your interest, so we'll provide the respective functionalities. Okay. So with this, the demo is done. So what do you guys? So any doubts?
No, it's clear.
Okay then. So if you have any doubts with respect to the training, you can reach out to the respective portal. Okay.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you for your time, sir.
Yeah. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Yeah, thank you.